Data centers are popping up all over the country, and now Fayetteville City leaders are looking at how to regulate them before one is ever proposed in the city. 5 News reporter Taylor Howard was at tonight's agenda session where council members discussed an ordinance that would add new requirements for future data centers. Taylor?
Morgan, I spoke with people who live in Fayetteville and city council members tonight. One of the biggest concerns is the impact these facilities can have on electricity and water usage, and that's part of what this proposed ordinance would address.
I grew up here. A lot more people need a lot more resources. Think ahead.
Concerns like this from people in the Fayetteville community were echoed during Tuesday night's discussion.
We're looking at these standalone large complexes. They're a huge drain of city water, electrical grid. It's a real impact to that.
During an agenda session, Fayetteville City Council got its first look at a proposed ordinance that would add new regulations for future data centers. Right now, council members say they aren't aware of any large data center projects being proposed in Fayetteville. But council member Scott Berna says it's important to have regulations in place before one ever comes forward.
We can protect the city of Fayetteville and its residents by setting up criteria by which we say, okay, you can come in here, but this is the criteria you have to meet to do that.
The proposal would require reports on things like water use, electricity demand, and other impacts a data center could have on a community. It would also change data centers from a permitted use to a conditional use, adding an extra step to the approval process.
I knew that we had established an ordinance a couple years ago that would control a little bit of the noise level, how it affected, but do we have any exposure? If a data center wanted to come in here, what protections do we have?
Arkansas law doesn't allow cities to ban data centers, but local governments can regulate them. Much of Tuesday's discussion centered on what could still be added to the proposal.
I think there'll be maybe some additional suggestions to maybe even strengthen this and make it even a better ordinance than it is.
Council members spent much of the discussion debating whether the proposed rules should go even further. Several said they'd like to see stronger language on inspections, monitoring, and fire safety requirements. Council members also raised concerns about a data center being built outside the city limits while still using Fayetteville resources. Another topic was who would pay for specialized reviews if a data center is ever proposed. They questioned whether future developers should help cover the costs of those reviews. In a statement to 5 News, the mayor's office said the administration supports the proposed ordinance and Mayor Molly Ron has reviewed it and expressed support. Council members could vote on the proposal as early as next week. If approved, the ordinance would take effect immediately through an emergency clause attached to the measure.
Thank you, Taylor. And there are already other cities in Arkansas that are moving on similar regulations, and Little Rock just approved its own last week.
Yeah, that ordinance sets rules around water and electricity use, noise, and community notification requirements. And Fayetteville leaders are considering similar issues as they review their own proposal, which could still change before next week. Well, of course, we're going to be at that meeting and we'll bring you the latest.
All right. Thank you, Taylor.